Hi, my name is Robert Chelle with Chelle Law, and I'm an attorney that assists nurse practitioners with employment contract and independent contractor agreement issues. Today I'm going to talk about tail insurance for a nurse practitioner. So, what is it? And then some red flags to think about. So, as a nurse practitioner, maybe you're new, have been an RN for a while, and you're finally an APRN. Malpractice insurance is something that you're now going to have to think about, whereas you didn't as an RN. And so there's generally two types of malpractice insurance utilized for nurse practitioners. The first is called occurrence, and the second is claims made. Now, if you work for a hospital or healthcare network, sometimes they are self-insured. In that scenario, you don't really have to worry about tail insurance. But today I'm just going to focus on occurrence and claims made. So an occurrence policy simply means a policy has to be in effect when the incident occurs. So if there is some kind of malpractice, you are covered for infinity. You don't need any extra policies after the employment relationship is terminated, and you are covered for as long as you are providing care. Generally, an occurrence policy is about a third more expensive per year. So it is a little more expensive, but usually in the long run, it makes sense for an NP to get an occurrence policy if they can, if they are the ones responsible for providing their own insurance. Now, normally, if you're an employed NP, meaning you're not working as an independent contractor, the employer should pay for your malpractice insurance, or at least the underlying premium, meaning how much it costs to insure you on an annual basis. That's not something that you should have to pay for. All right, the second type of insurance is called claims made, and this simply means a policy has to be in effect, when you're actually sued. So there is a scenario where you're working for an employer, the agreement terminates, your malpractice policy ends, and then there's going to be a gap in between the last day you provided care and the last day somebody can sue you, and that's the statute of limitations. For the most part, 2 years is what most states go off of. So, if that 2-year period ends, then you can't be sued for malpractice. Now, there are some exceptions for minors, but I'm not going to get into that, in this video. So, tail insurance generally is about twice what your annual premium is. Meaning, let's say your malpractice insurance costs $2,000 a year, which is not, kind of an average amount for a nurse practitioner. Then you would double that, and then that's how much your tail insurance will cost. Now, there are different lengths of tail that you can get: 2 years, 8 years, ongoing, meaning you're just covered forever. And that the cost will change based upon how long you want your tail to be. Now, it is not an annual payment. You just pay one time, and then your tail is someplace, and you are covered. Now, who pays for tail is completely contractual, meaning whatever it says in your employment contract, that's what's going to hold. That's who's going to be responsible for paying that amount. As I said before, if you're working for a hospital or health network, you almost never have to pay your own tail. Whereas if you're working for a physician-owned practice and working there, or if you're in a state where you're autonomous and either working for yourself or another NP, that's when you may have to pay for it. So you need to look in the contract, identify one, what type of policy is utilized, claims made or occurrence. 2, who's paying for the annual premium, the employer should. And then 3, who's responsible to pay tail. Now, it's not uncommon if you're working for a physician practice or an NP-owned practice for the NP to have to pay their own tail. So you're not kind of getting screwed over necessarily if they're asking you to pay for it. But that is something that you can negotiate. Sometimes we'll offer, you will pay a percentage that decreases over time. So for instance, if you leave within the first year, you have to pay 100% of your tail. If you leave after year 2, you have to pay 2/3 of it. And if you leave after year 3, you have to pay 1/3 of it, something like that. Sometimes that's a little more palatable for an employer versus just saying it's an all or nothing, they pay your tail completely or not. So if you're thinking about ways to get the employer to agree to pay at least some of your tail, that's been an effective strategy for me. All right, well, that's a little bit on tail insurance for nurse practitioners. If you have any questions about your employment contract or independent contractor agreement, feel free to contact my law firm. All of our information is listed below in the description. And I appreciate you watching this video. Take care.